She called the cops and screamed, "Arrest him. He's trespassing on my property." But I was standing right there. On the land I bought with my own hands. The same ranch I had built before I deployed overseas. I just stared at her, calm but burning inside. She had a folder in her hand, waving some HOA paper that said the land wasn't mine anymore. My neighbors peeked out from behind their fences, whispering, waiting to see what would happen. She smirked like she already won. "I sold this ranch," she said with fake confidence. "You were gone. The HOA has full rights now." I almost laughed. But the anger in my chest was heavier than my armor overseas. I kept my voice steady. "You think a piece of paper can erase my deed? You think you can steal a soldier's land while he's serving his country?" The two men beside her, dressed in cheap uniforms with HOA security patches, shifted uncomfortably, like kids playing cops. She barked at them, "Do your job. Remove him now." But I didn't move. I just stood taller, let my silence make her nervous. One of the fake officers muttered, "Ma'am, maybe we should wait for the sheriff." She cut him off, yelling, "No. This man has no right here." I pulled something from my pocket. Not a weapon, not anger. Just my original property deed, folded and worn from years in my wallet. I held it up so everyone could see. Her smirk dropped instantly. "You sold nothing," I said slowly. "Because you can't sell what you don't own." Her face turned pale, but instead of backing down, she doubled down. She grabbed her phone and hissed into it, "Get the real cops. I'll make sure he regrets ever coming back." And that's when I realized. This wasn't just about me. She had done this to others too. And now, she was about to learn what happens when you try to steal from the wrong man. The sirens cut through the quiet neighborhood, flashing red and blue lights bouncing off the ranch fences. Karen straightened her suit jacket, fixing her hair like she was about to win an award. Finally, she whispered, "The law will handle this." The fake HOA guards stood stiff, pretending they had authority. But I saw their hands shaking. The cruiser door opened, and two deputies stepped out. Real uniforms. Real authority. My heart raced, not from fear, but from anticipation. Karen rushed toward them, pointing at me like she had caught a criminal. "Arrest him," she shouted. "He broke into this property. He's violent. He threatened me and my staff." One deputy looked at her with raised brows, then at me. "Sir, can we see some ID?" he asked calmly. I pulled out my military ID and handed it over with the folded deed. His eyes flickered when he saw the seal. "Army?" he asked. "Deployed last year," I said, my voice low but steady. "Came back to find my land sold out from under me." Karen shoved the HOA papers into the other deputy's hands. "Ignore his story. He abandoned this property. HOA took over, I lawfully sold it. He's trespassing." The deputy studied the HOA notice, then frowned. "Ma'am, this isn't even notarized. And it doesn't have the county clerk's stamp." Karen's face went red. "What? Are you calling me a liar?" I didn't say a word. I just let the silence grow heavier. Every neighbor now gathered at the fences, phones out, recording. The second deputy looked at me again, then said the line that froze her cold. "Ma'am, you might want to step back. Because if this deed checks out, you're looking at fraud." Her lips trembled, but she forced a laugh. "Fraud? Don't be ridiculous. I am the HOA." And right then, my phone buzzed. A call from my old commander. I answered it on speaker. His voice was clear, sharp, and carried more weight than any HOA paper ever could. "Son, we've been tracking a complaint about that HOA. Don't move. The Army already contacted federal housing investigators. That woman won't touch a single acre again." Karen froze. The deputy's eyes widened. The neighbors gasped. For the first time, she looked scared. Karen's confidence cracked. But she tried to glue it back together with another fake smile. She stepped closer to the deputies, lowering her voice like she could still control the room. Don't listen to him. He's just making calls to scare me. This ranch is under HOA jurisdiction, and I. Before she could finish, black SUVs rolled down the dirt road, dust rising behind them. They didn't look like patrol cars. They looked heavier. The doors opened, and 3 men in plain suits stepped out. Badges flashing in the sunlight. The neighbors fell silent. Even the fake HOA guards backed up. One of the agents walked straight toward Karen. "Ma'am. We're with Federal Housing Enforcement. We need to speak with you regarding multiple property complaints in this county." Karen blinked fast, stumbling on her words. "Multiple complaints? No, this is a mistake. He's the problem. He came back from deployment and thinks he still owns this place." The agent cut her off. "We already have verified records from the county. This ranch belongs to him. Not you. Not your HOA." He turned to me, nodding with respect. "Sir, thank you for your service. We'll handle this." Karen's face twisted. She turned to the crowd of neighbors, desperate. "You all saw him. He threatened me. He's dangerous. You can't just let him walk free." One of the neighbors, a gray-haired man who'd been filming everything, stepped forward. "I saw it all. You planted fake notices, brought fake security, and tried to bully him. You've been doing this for years, Karen." "Not anymore." The crowd murmured in agreement, phones raised high, catching every second. Karen's voice shook as she snapped back, "You people don't understand. I control this neighborhood." That's when the agent pulled out a folder and dropped the hammer. "No, ma'am. What you control is a network of fraudulent HOA contracts. We have evidence linking you to over a dozen illegal property sales. This isn't just harassment, it's federal fraud." Karen's fake authority shattered in that moment. The HOA guards quietly slipped away, pretending they didn't know her. The deputy stood taller, waiting for the order. I crossed my arms, my voice calm but cutting through the silence. "You tried to steal my land while I was fighting for this country. Now you're about to lose everything you thought you owned." Her jaw dropped. The neighbors cheered under their breath. And the agents moved in closer, ready to take her. Karen's hands trembled, but instead of surrendering, she snapped. She shoved the HOA folder against the agent's chest and spun toward the deputies. "You can't do this to me. I have rights. This whole neighborhood depends on me. If he stays here, everything falls apart." The deputies didn't move. The agent calmly handed the papers to one of his partners. "Ma'am, you need to step aside." But she didn't. She lunged for her phone again, dialing frantically. "I'll prove it. I'll call the county commissioner, the judge, the sheriff, someone will back me up." Her voice was shrill, panicked, like she was trying to build a wall out of noise. The neighbors laughed bitterly. One woman shouted from the fence, "Go ahead, Karen. Call everyone. We'll record that too." Phones stayed pointed at her, capturing every second of her meltdown. She turned back to me, pointing a shaking finger. "This isn't over. You think you're safe because you flash your little soldier badge. You don't know how much power I have." I took one step closer, my voice low but sharp enough for everyone to hear. "Power? Real power doesn't hide behind fake papers and scared neighbors. You stole from families. You lied to veterans. And now, you're finished." The agent signaled to the deputies. But just as they moved to cuff her, Karen screamed and grabbed the fake HOA guard's gun belt. The whole crowd gasped. For one terrifying second, it looked like she might actually try to pull a weapon. But the guard yanked back, shouting, "Whoa! I'm not going down for you, lady." He shoved her away, and she stumbled in the dirt, falling to her knees. Her last ounce of control slipped through her fingers. The lead agent leaned down, cold and final. "You just turned a fraud case into a criminal arrest. Congratulations." As the cuffs clicked around her wrists, Karen's eyes darted wildly around the crowd, searching for anyone to defend her. No one moved. No one spoke. I exhaled slowly, the weight of deployment and betrayal pressing on me. but also the relief of justice. Finally catching up. For the first time, I saw fear in her eyes instead of mine. And then, just when it seemed like the nightmare was over, the agent's phone rang. His face tightened as he listened. When he hung up, he looked at me. "Sir, this goes deeper than her. She wasn't working alone." The crowd went silent again. Even Karen stopped struggling, her face twisting into a knowing smile. The agent's words cut through the air like a blade. She wasn't working alone. Everyone froze. Karen's smirk returned, twisted and ugly. "You think I'm the villain? You haven't even met the people above me," she hissed. The neighbors murmured in fear, some lowering their phones. But I didn't flinch. I looked the agent dead in the eye. "Then we go higher. I didn't fight overseas just to lose my home here. If they want a fight, they'll get one. But they'll lose it the same way she did, by the law." Karen was dragged toward the SUVs, still shouting, "You'll never stop us. The HOA owns everything." Her voice faded as the doors slammed shut. The deputy stayed behind, reassuring the neighbors that their houses would be reviewed. One man asked, "Does this mean we finally get our deeds back?" The agent nodded. "Every stolen property is being returned. Justice doesn't stop with one arrest." I stood at the edge of my land, looking out at the fences, the fields, the soil I had sweated for. For a year, it had been stolen on paper. But now, it was mine again, legally, rightfully, and untouchable. A little boy from down the road ran up to me, his father behind him. The boy saluted shyly. "Thank you for fighting, sir. Not just in the army, but here." I swallowed hard, fighting the lump in my throat. I bent down and put a hand on his shoulder. "Son. This land, this freedom, it's for you too. Nobody steals that from us." The neighbors clapped softly, not out of celebration, but out of respect. Phones went down. For the first time in years, the street felt safe. As the sun dipped low, painting the ranch in gold, I knew this wasn't just about my land anymore. It was about standing up against anyone who thought power gave them the right to steal. I looked at the flagpole in front of my porch. The stars and stripes still hanging strong in the evening breeze. "I didn't serve this country," I whispered. "More to myself than anyone else. Just to come home and bow to tyrants. Not in uniform. Not out of it. Not ever." And with that, the ranch was mine again. Not just by law, but by justice.